All right, man, peace. So the most populous state in the United States, California that is, has decided to officially legalize the use of quote unquote recreational marijuana. Of course, they're going to talk about it and I'm going to chime in.
Nonetheless, the state with the most people is making the newest recreational marijuana legal. Hundreds of Californians lined up on New Year's Day to buy some, though pot is not yet available throughout the state. Mireya Villarreal is at a medical marijuana dispensary in West Hollywood.
Now look at Mireya Villarreal. look at this. They got her. They have her little her monitor is tinted green. I wonder why that is.
That begins recreational sales today. Mireya, good morning.
Good morning. Out of the more than 400 businesses in California licensed to sell adult use marijuana, only about a quarter of them are actually selling it right now. Oswego, where we are standing this morning, is one of them, and its owners actually tell me, like many in California, they've been gearing up for this historic moment for several years now.
Scissors.
With the cutting of a green ribbon, Harborside.
Look at this silly shit. You really gonna trust a weed head with a scissors that damn big? You lucky he didn't cut a camera in half. I wonder if you work at the pot store, can they fire you for showing up to work high?
Harborside Dispensary in Oakland kicked off legal sales of recreational marijuana Monday. Henry Wykowski was the first in line.
To be able to now just walk in, show your driver's license, and make a purchase, it's been a long time coming.
Look at these old ass potheads. It's been a long time coming. Motherfucker act like he got freed from slavery or something.
The milestone, which allows anyone 21 years of age and older to buy and possess recreational pot, comes nearly 2 decades after California.
Look at this. It's all Caucasians. Black people still don't trust it yet. They say, look, man, I'm not going in there. I'm on probation. They'd be like, but Tyrone, it's legal now. Nah, I don't trust it. I'm going to give it about a year. It might be the feds.
California became the first state to legalize medicinal marijuana. Lines popped up at dispensaries with customers ranging from longtime users to first-time buyers.
The only thing that really surprised me was the number of people my age. I thought I was going to be the only grandfather.
You thought you was going to be the only old-ass weed head up in the shop, huh? No, there's a lot of old weed heads out there, and they're all happy, just like you, to finally be able to come out with it. Come out the closet, your weed head. That's just sexual orientation. Weed.
First strain as well as the ratio. This is absolutely going to be a recreational habit for me. I could just smoke a quarter of a blunt, have some Doritos, and I'll be good.
And just cry the rest of my night away. I can just forget about the fact I can't get a woman. I can't keep a job. I could just seek solace in my weed. Finally, I'm free.
But not everyone's a fan. About a dozen California towns have reportedly banned recreational sales altogether, and law enforcement is concerned about a potential rise in drug driving.
Yes, they should be. They should be very concerned, because even though people are most likely not going to be smoking in their vehicles, they're going to be smoking at home before they get into their vehicle. They're going to be going to the pot store and buying their little weed or whatever, and it's going to make people, just from a psychological perspective, it's going to loosen up the understanding of boundaries in regards to propriety and drug use. And that's one of the many reasons why weed should not be legalized. And once again, I speak from the perspective of a so-called black man. My channel is geared towards the so-called black man. And things like this are not good for the so-called black man. And it's not good at all. And I know there's a lot of weed head brothers, I'm sure, that on my channel is watching the videos going to say, oh, man, why you being judgmental? Look, bruh, at the end of the day, when you're at the bottom, your mind has to be as sharp as possible. You can't view a situation like this how the Caucasian would. Once again, please notice, everybody online and in that shop was Caucasian. You know why? Because their perspective is different from yours. They understand that they're not going to be viewed the same as a so-called young black male would be viewed if he's smoking weed. So you have to view yourself differently as well, just like they view themselves differently. Why? Because they understand intrinsically that law enforcement is going to view them differently than they will view you. Period.
As has been the case in other states like Colorado, in Washington, we fully expect to see an increase in crashes due to marijuana usage.
Experts believe the new industry will generate billions of dollars for the state.
Of course it is. It's definitely going to generate billions of dollars for these pot shops. If I was running a weed shop, look, all transactions would have to be in cash. Because you know them weed heads, they come in there, it'll come up to $25.95 and they give you $100 bill. You just give them back $2. Thank you, buddy. Oh, man, I can't wait to come back here tomorrow. Get me some more weed. Motherfucker, leave your store. You done shorted them $72. You don't even know it. Oh, man, this is some good shit.
Bringing an estimated $1 billion a year in tax revenue alone.
Of course, that's what it was. That's what it was all about from the start. That's what it was all about from the start. California's broke, man. So the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to legalize weed. And like I stated, one of my first videos was on this topic. And one of the main reasons why they're trying to make marijuana and the use of other drugs more acceptable in this society is because they're trying to dope the people up and dumb them down. Once the people are sedated, then you can bring in certain forms of indoctrination and make it more acceptable.
I think it's really important that we have to end the stigma around marijuana.
Of course you want to end the stigma around marijuana because you're a weed head and most likely you're depressed. You look like a liberal woman. This chick looks like that actress Olivia Munn. The lesbian actress, allegedly lesbian actress, who was dating Aaron Rodgers, or allegedly dating Aaron Rodgers while he struggles with his own issues. But people like that. You could look in her face. This broad has liberal woman written all over her. Most likely been with a whole bunch of men. And I know, look, I'm just going by what I see. Okay, certain people might not like what I'm saying. I really don't give a damn. Many of these people who are trying to promote the acceptance of marijuana usage as a norm, they're struggling with their own mental issues. And it's one thing if it's for medical purposes, if it's to assist you with an ailment. But just in regards to everyday usage, you're trying to run from reality. And once again, my focus and my channel is geared towards the so-called black man. The so-called black man has to learn how to face reality, not run from it.
I'm an employed, functioning adult, and I...
Allegedly.
And I also...
Allegedly.
Also smoke weed, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Now that the doors are open here in California, more than 1 in 5 Americans live in states where recreational marijuana can legally be purchased. However, the federal government still views this as an illegal controlled substance comparable to heroin and LSD.
Well, look, I wouldn't put marijuana on the level of heroin and LSD, but if you're going to decriminalize marijuana, I'm sure that there are people who are avid users of heroin and LSD who will say, well, if marijuana is legalized, how come LSD cannot be legalized? And it would not surprise me once the federal government tries to commandeer the commerce of marijuana that they create their own strain that will most likely be laced with LSD. Please keep in mind that the administering of LSD to unwitting patients was part of the MK Ultra program or mind control program. It was part of what was used to see what substances could be utilized to implement some form of mental suggestion. So once again, the reason why they want to make marijuana usage more mainstream for the American populace is so that when they bring forth certain reforms, the people will not be as mentally resistant. No matter what people say, when you're a drug user, you're not, your cognitive functions are not on optimal levels. And I don't care what anybody says. Your awareness is not where it needs to be. Your cognitive function is not where it needs to be. Period. And once again, please look it up. When you look up the early experiments in MK Ultra, whether it was Project Chatter or Project Artichoke, they were utilizing LSD on patients to see how LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs could be utilized to assist them in finding out how to implant certain memories in their subjects, how to assist in implementing certain mind control protocols in their subjects.
Alex?
Mireya, thanks. Lottery players are...
But we're definitely going to see where this is going, because this is not going to stop with California. I'm sure that they're going to try to bring it to New York. I just believe that the state legislature with New York is trying to see how feasible it is to bring to New York. All right, so now the CBS Morning News had a follow-up to California legalizing the use of recreational marijuana. Let's see what they have to say.
It is now legal to sell recreational pot in California, but the rollout is not going smoothly everywhere. It may be months before the digital system designed to track and regulate sales is fully operational.
Now, pay very close attention to that. Jeff Glor, the anchor, he stated that it's going to be months before the digital system is fully up and operational. What does that mean? That means that they're also going to use the implementation of legalized marijuana as a tracking mechanism for the purchasers of that drug. They're definitely going to take their pound of flesh out of many of the unwitting users of this drug. Many of the people who decide that they're going to use marijuana are going to be put into a database for tracking. And eventually, I'm sure that they're going to upgrade the method of database input to some form of chip. I'm sure that of course, is going to start out as a barcode. Most likely, people who purchase marijuana from these facilities are going to have to enter their information into a computer database. Of course, their name, their address, their ID, meaning their driver's license. And then from there, it's going to be upgraded eventually, I have little doubt about it, to some form of RFID technology. And of course, they may use this as some form of justification to roll out the chip. They may tell the people of California, well, if you want to use legalized marijuana, you have to have this chip. At first in your wallet or on your keychain, but eventually in your body. And when you're dealing with people who are addicts or who are addicted to a drug, they'll do anything.
And the drug is still only being sold for medical purposes
allegedly only being sold for medical purposes
in some large cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. Maria Villarreal is at a marijuana dispensary in West Hollywood that is selling recreational marijuana. Maria, good morning.
Damn, Maria been on this story, boy. I bet she volunteered for this one.
Well, good morning. Here at Zen in West Hollywood, you can buy recreational marijuana right now. But just a few miles down the road in Los Angeles, that's not the case. And that's because a lot of big cities here in California are just now allowing businesses to apply for licenses.
Now, when you hear that term licenses, as I'm sure many of you brothers already know, the term license simply means permission. So whenever you hear that term license, that means that the federal government is eventually going to hone in on what the revenue streams are for this enterprise. And I believe that the United States is basically just watching from afar to see how California handles this. Because it's one thing to have Colorado or Washington State legalize the sale of recreational marijuana. But California is probably the foremost state in the United States. And how successful they are in implementing a legalized recreational drug business is going to determine the domino effect on the rest of the states in this country.
Potential pot customers in Los Angeles were hit with a sobering reality January 1st. The city just started taking applications for licenses to sell recreational weed today.
We're going to do this the Los Angeles way.
Here go Cat Packer again, a.k.a. Lil Bow Wow. Let me find out Lil Bow Wow bounced back from his failed rap career now. And now he's a lesbian in California telling people how to buy cannabis. This shit is so ridiculous, man. You know who I blame for shit like this? Black man, I blame you. I blame you, black man, for this shit. This broad is standing here with a sexual and gender identity disorder trying to be you. What does that tell you? I would like to know this person's background. It's also a very bad reflection on the state of California. It shows you how bugged out they are over there in that state, that they will let someone like this be the representative for this movement. Or maybe it's them telling you how seriously they take the regulation of legalized marijuana. That they that they have Lil Bow Wow, Lil Bow Wow, and I was about to say Lil Bow Wow in drag, but it's really more like Jada Pinkett in drag. This shit is all over the place. But like I was saying, in regards to the term license, also remember that in regards to what I was stating about the U.S. government, the federal government, basically the role of the federal government in a system like this where they're only using fiat money, which is money with nothing backing it. The role of the government is to basically tax its citizens who are just debt slaves because there's no real money. So the federal government is going to sit back and watch and see how successful California is in implementing this enterprise. And of course, they're going to come in and they're going to use it as a blueprint for other states. And then, of course, they're going to take out their chunk, their piece of the pie. That's how the federal government operates. The state is going to take out its chunk. And also remember, a lot of the illegal marijuana that was coming into California came in from Mexico. And drug sales are one of the main ways that the United States and all the individual states within the United States launder their money. The CIA brings in a lot of illegal, quote unquote, illegal drugs into the United States, and they use the drug dealers on the street to launder the money by selling the product. That, of course, is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And then on top of that, you can arrest those drug dealers. That's another multi-billion-dollar industry known as the prison industrial complex. Now, with the implementation of legalized recreational drug sales, that will be another billion-dollar industry, which is going to be essential for a state like California, which is right now broke. So make no mistake, states like New York are watching. Okay? Many other states across America are watching. They're watching to see how Kat Packer handles her business.
And that means that we're going to have to do this responsibly. Kat Packer, head of the city's Department of Cannabis Regulation, says medical...
And that shit is ridiculous. Her real name cannot possibly be Kat Packer. That got to be some type of code name. I bet she's packing a lot of pussy somewhere. That broad is packing a lot of cats. This shit is ridiculous.
Medical marijuana dispensaries that have been compliant with the law will get priority processing. And even then, it could be a week before a temporary recreational license is issued.
Businesses are going to have to submit applications for review. They're going to have to go through pre-licensing inspections.
And that means what, Kat? What's going to be the extent of the inspection? Every female who runs a marijuana store is going to have to give you some pussy. Is that it? They're going to have to rub coochies with you? Come on, man. No, bow, wow, wow.
Another issue, the digital system the state is using to regulate and track recreational marijuana sales just launched, and businesses have to be trained to input data before the state can make it mandatory, which could take months.
I'm sure. And I can imagine how long it's going to take a bunch of pothead cashiers to figure out how to enter data into a database. So I press Control Alt Delete. Oh, okay. Why is it so complicated?
Businesses are being asked to manually file invoices, which experts say is not only complicated, but risks state pot slipping into the black market.
The rules are...
Now listen to that. They said state pot slipping into the black market. Well, what does that really mean? Does that mean that state pot may be genetically modified and different from what's being sold on the street? As I touched on earlier, please keep in mind that the implementation of drugs into the mainstream is a way for the government to dope up the people. Who knows what they've genetically modified a lot of these state drugs with, or what they've spliced the marijuana seeds with? Who knows?
So onerous that it's not really possible to do manual.
Ben Curran is the CEO of Green Bits, a company that helps dispensaries in 7 states comply with regulations, including in California.
The first year is going to be a lot of the businesses transitioning, getting used to the new rules and learning the differences, and then getting good at doing that at scale. And the state itself, you'll see, will actually be a little bit more lenient at the beginning while people are learning it.
Of course, they're going to be very lenient at the beginning because the state, has a lot invested in the success of this enterprise. This has to work for California. Believe me, this came down from the government. They're trying to act as if there's some antagonism between the U.S. government and these various states that are legalizing the sale of recreational marijuana. There is no antagonism. It's all for show. Very similar to how when they first started to roll out gay marriage, quote unquote gay marriage across the United States, what did they act like? They acted like there was some controversy over whether the states would allow homosexual marriage. That was already in the script. This is already in the script. They want the people of America to be strung out on marijuana, preferably marijuana that is mixed with some type of hallucinogenic drug like LSD. Once again, LSD was used in the MK Ultra experiments. Okay? So it would not shock me to see mushrooms and LSD right around the corner, right after they push marijuana.
Businesses and other people in the industry are also concerned that the relatively low number of licenses that have been issued so far for recreational marijuana could lead to a dry spell if the new distribution system fails to meet demand.
Well, if there's a dry spell, then you would have to expect California to roll out some major, big budget advertising push to make sure that the people of California are aware that they can now get their marijuana legally. And they will not care how many kids see those billboards or anything like that. America's all about big business. That's all it's about.
Fast enough. Nora?
All right, Maria, thank you so much.
Yeah, Nora like, I could use me a toke right now. I haven't smoked a good blunt since college. But anyway, once again, brothers, as I always state, this channel is geared towards the so-called black man. They will push for the legalization of marijuana, and I expect it to be glorified, especially in the so-called black community, where they have made the black man believe that marijuana is for him. And look, you do what you want to do. I don't come on my channel to tell cats what to do. But once again, they view the so-called black man and drug use different from how they would view a 45-year-old Caucasian man. Simple as that. So you have to figure out if you're ready to deal with the real world or if you want to dwell in that hazy world of marijuana. But anyway, peace.